Guess what? India has sent a nuclear message to the world. India is no longer playing games, and it will surely settle for nothing less than what it truly deserves. And what India deserves is a seat at the table of the Nuclear Supplies Group or NSG. Now, India has sent a stern warning to the West. If the West wants India to fulfill the green climate agenda, it must ensure its entry into the NSG. India has said that meeting its green energy requirement would mean transitioning away from coal. Abandoning coal would mean embracing nuclear energy. And for that to happen, India has said it needs to be a part of the NSG. It's a take it or leave it offer, and the West better take it. Hi and welcome. This is TFI English, the national and socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I am your host Isha, and in this video I will tell you how India has given an ultimatum to the West to ensure our entry into the NSG. Let's begin. India is a member of the G4, a group of nations comprising Brazil, Germany, India and Japan, who back each other in seeking a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and advocate in favor of the reformation of the UNSC. For the 8th time, India has entered the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member for a period of 2 years. India is one of the founding members of the UNSC, and for 7 times it has been elected as a non-permanent member of the Council. India is fast emerging as an economic superpower. When it comes to achieving the Paris Accord climate goals, India is the only country that has met its goal well before the target date of 2030. India is also a nuclear powered nation, and yet India is not a member of the Nuclear Suppliers Group. The NSG is a 48-member group that regulates global nuclear commerce. To serve as a barrier to India's entry into the NSG, China has been insisting that only those countries that are a part of the Non-Proliferation Treaty should be allowed to enter the organization. Ever since India applied for the membership of the NSG in May 2016, it seemed to have triggered and threatened the Chinese authority. China maintains that there would be no discussion on India's entry into the NSG. Now, India has given an ultimatum to the West to ensure our entry into the NSG, or forget your climate goals being achieved anytime soon. India has made it clear that its climate and development goals are tied with its entry into the grouping. India's Sherpa to the G20 summit, Piyush Goyal said, "As I said, this is something that needs to be determined based on the type of technologies that would be available for that climate transition. For example, for a base load to be replaced from coal to maybe nuclear, we will need large amounts of capital for setting up nuclear plants, both to replace our current demand and for the future demand that the development imperative requires. Secondly, we will need to be members of the Nuclear Suppliers Group to ensure adequate availability of raw materials for nuclear supply and several other associated concerns around cost of power." India gave the ultimatum to the West as part of the common but differentiated responsibilities and respective capabilities, which calls on the developer West to fulfill its commitments. In September, during the first in-person bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden had stressed over his support for India's entry into the Nuclear Suppliers Group and for permanent membership in a reformed United Nations Security Council. India now seems to have called on America and the West to walk the talk and push for India's inclusion into the NSG. Given how concerned the West appears to be on the issue of climate change, it is safe to assume that India's demand would soon be met.